everyone, you're watching The W Show thanks to NAB. It's great to have your company as we count down to finals footy. Daisy Pearce, welcome to you, our first ever round 9. Finals are just around the corner. The D's are in finals. Are you pumped?
Yeah, good to be locked away and pumped for what should be a really exciting final series. And before that, a pretty chock-a-block full round 9 as well, with some good matchups coming up.
Looking forward to it. We're going to get through all of that in just a moment, but let's take a look first at what's been making news this week and the big story. Freo star Kiara Bowers still in the mix to claim the AFLW Best and Fairest medal after winning her appeal at the Tribunal. We get down to the business end of the season. 5 games set to decide the makeup of the top 6. The Lions make it 4 in a row, and Bella Lewis and Courtney Hodder are this week's NAB AFLW Rising Star nominees. Nowadays, we should talk about Kiara Bowers. I will say it's probably a little bit awkward for you given the incident actually involved one of your teammates in Eden Zanker. First off the top, how is Eden?
Yeah, Eden's pretty well. She had a bit of a stiff neck, but thankfully avoided concussion so she could play out the game and was pretty influential for us. And then, yeah, even more importantly, available this week. But she was just a bit sore. It is always a bit awkward when your team's involved. And also, I'd never cheer for anyone to get rubbed out, let alone a good competitor like Kiara Bowers. But yeah, it's a little bit confusing now given other decisions throughout the year, but good for her that she's available to play.
So this was the tackle. It happened in the very start of the match. Now, the classification from the MRO with the 1 match ban was careless, medium impact and high contact. And as we expected, Fremantle went to the Tribunal. It was then downgraded from medium impact to low. So Kiara has escaped with just a fine. I think most people were surprised. The thing that gets me, Daisy, is that the potential to cause serious injury. So we know that Eden Zanker played out the game. She wasn't concussed, as you say, just a stiff neck. But I was under the impression that the match review now took into consideration the seriousness that this could cause a potential injury. And that, to me, it's very hard to flip someone of Eden's size on low impact. For me, that was medium impact.
It's a tricky one, and you're right. I guess just that potential to cause injury, it looks like that's there. But yeah, I think thankful for Eden's sake that she wasn't, and also now Kiara's sake, I think it would have had a fair bit of weight had she been concussed or had an injury. But I guess the question is that right, that it is so reliant on the outcome?
I wonder how Maddie Prespakis, Carlton star, is feeling because she was suspended earlier in the season for a similar tackle, in that the momentum of her player that she's tackling is also falling the same way. This was Sarah Hosking. She missed a game for this, did Maddie Prespakis. If you compare the two, which tackle would you say has more potential to cause serious injury?
Oh, I don't know. It's a tricky one to kind of choose between the two. I guess they're similar in how the player ended up falling, different in the sense that Bowers, I think she was only tackling with one hand, so it's really tricky. But to the naked eye, they look pretty similar. I remember back to the Prespakis incident thinking, oh wow, they're really serious about this, because that was high profile as well. She's the reigning best and fairest winner, so it obviously makes her ineligible. It'll be very interesting if that conversation pops up again on W Awards night, if Prespakis is pretty close in the running.
Well, when I look at the two, I think Maddie's a little bit stiff there. I certainly think that Kiara Bowers' tackle on Eden Zanker was much worse than that Maddie Prespakis tackle. Let's move on though. As I mentioned, we are so close to finals. Round 9. This season, it's just coming down to the wire. There are probably about 5 games that will decide the makeup of the top 6. Let's take a look though at the ladder, because it is so tight. The Bulldogs and the Giants are probably more unlikely to make the top 6. Carlton's still in the mix though, and that top 2 as well is yet to be decided.
Yeah, it's a very live round, isn't it? More games than not will determine the ladder, and yeah, very exciting. Exactly what supporters would have wanted, you'd imagine.
Doing all the maths and the machinations.
Well, I'm glad you have.
Trying to figure it all out. And I believe that even the Ds are still a chance to potentially make top 2 and have a week off and go straight into a prelim.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we need results to go our way, but the one that we think about is needing to win. That's the one that we can control. But I think if other things fall our way, Collingwood winning and Freo losing,
I think, yes.
So North winning, that'd see us finish second. But first things first for us is just win and work out what it all means.
Well, let's take a more in-depth look at some of these matches now. And I want to look, first of all, at the Roos and Freo. We were talking about Kiara Bowers. So Fremantle's so lucky to have her for what is a crucial match for them. The Roos, they're without Jenna Bruton. She's been suspended. The Roos need to win to lock in a final spot. For Freo, though, there's a lot on the line because if they actually lose, they could drop as low as 6th. You beat the Dockers on the weekend on their home deck. How do you beat them if you're the
Well,
Roos?
I think for North, it's just about being first into the ball to deny them of their ball-winning ability.
Yep.
That's what generates their ability to move the ball really quickly, and Bowers does set the tone for a lot of that. So don't worry about the W awards. They'll be just happy to have her back in the side for this must-win clash. And then I think it's around sound defence. They move the ball so quickly, they don't muck around with it. They're fairly direct. So players like Talia Randall, Hardiman, Jess Duffin really holding their position so that they can slow their ball movement down is important for North Melbourne.
One key for Freo is their slow start. They've been goalless in 6 out of their 8 opening quarters. They really need to get out of the blocks quickly, don't they?
Yeah, it's one of those funny ones, and you've seen over the last 2 weeks they believe they can win from anywhere, and whether that plays on your mind early and you start relying on your ability to run out a game, whether that's crept into their psyche, that there's that lack of urgency because we know how good we are in the back end of games, who knows, but I'm sure they'll be doing everything to address it.
The Blues Giants is also an intriguing clash. The Giants a very slim chance of making finals. The Blues, though, they need to absolutely smash the Giants.
Which they're capable of.
Which they are capable of. They are. If Darcy Vestio crops up again and kicks another bag of 5, then they certainly could do that. But they also need Freo to help them out by beating the Roos quite heavily because they've got about 20% in percentage to make up. How do you see this one playing out?
I think the Blues will get it done. They're just starting to hum, aren't they? I mean, Vesio starring up forward, but also Karen Harrington's been outstanding down back in recent weeks, defending her opponent, but then just the drive that she gives them. Then players like Grace Egan, Nick Stevens, having really good seasons. You don't hear a lot about them externally, but they're just rock solid. Players like that have kept the team in it for long enough, and now players like Vesio starring, they're a real threat if they get in, but they've got to get in.
It'd be a real shame if they missed out because they have shown that form line and they are looking like a really exciting unit at the moment. So it would be such a shame if they missed out, but we'll have to see what they can produce. Adelaide up against Collingwood, the first interstate trip for the Pies. Of course, they were supposed to travel a couple of weeks ago to Brisbane, but that game was rescheduled at the Whitten Oval. So their first trip on the road. This one, super interesting. Both teams need to win if they want a prelim final. Yeah, and I mean, the number one attack in the Crows, they've kicked the most goals of the season up against the number one defence, as you see there. So really intriguing battle. Norwood, it is that smaller type ground, similar to Vic Park, so I don't think Collingwood will have to adjust too much. It's going to be a really interesting one, whether Adelaide's gun midfield in Hatchard, Marinoff, Phillips, when she goes in there up against all the stars in Collingwood, who gets the upper hand? I think that's where the game will be won and lost. And just a side note, how good was it to see Ash Brazel back out on the footy field? Yeah, and got through comfortably. So, I mean, we were unsure when she was going to be coming back last week, and, you know, they took a risk, didn't play her through the VFL, but it looks like it's paid dividends. And finally, one of the big games that you're involved in, the D's up against the Lions. This one intriguing. You guys love Casey Fields. I think you've not lost a game this season, 6 in a row, something like that, your record down there. Amazing. What is it about the ground? I think it's just the familiarity. We've trained out there and we play out there. We understand a lot of the wind patterns and that kind of thing, and there's always wind out there. You can count on that. But no, I think it's just familiarity, and you know, I get knowing that a team has to fly to Melbourne and then drive out to Cranbourne's pretty satisfying as well. But the Lions have beaten us out there before, so they've been out there a couple of times and we'll probably know how to play it as well. And they're a rock solid team, Brisbane, one that I've not hidden, that I really respect and rate. So yeah, look forward to playing against them. This season, Kathy Spark has become probably the first ever premier AFLW tagger in the competition. Last week she shut down Jazz Garner from the Roos. Put yourself in Kathy's shoes and you can't say no one. Who are you tagging? Which one of your teammates? Paxman. I'd tag Paxman. Yeah, she's probably
the most consistent and strongest driver in that midfield. And I reckon just her leadership as well. I'd be going after that. I've given them ideas, but I'm sure they've had that idea anyway.
I think we're definitely going to see that this weekend sure.
She's impressive, Spark, an amazing athlete. Her ability to shut down her opponent but then get to the outside through her work rate's pretty impressive.
No, it is indeed. Well, we want to go inside the Lions' den as you prepare this week. What makes them such a great side?
Well, I keep saying that they're smart and well drilled, and I sort of thought, well, what does that even mean? So I wanted to use Sophie Conway as an example, because there is no better example than the work that she does. She plays on the wing a lot of the time. I think she's the All-Australian winger at this stage, but you see her here, bottom right of screen. She's gone back onto a North Melbourne forward who's gotten free, so she's had the awareness to man her up, and then when time allows, because there's a stoppage, just communicates with her defender to come back onto her, then resumes her spot over on the wing. So she provides such good defensive support for the Lions, as a lot of good wingers do, but then she really helps them generate goals as well. So we'll see now as the ball goes live into play, just her work rate to create space for the Lions and create an option is what opens up the corridor for them here. And generates a scoring opportunity. So she doesn't even win the football, but in just this action and the work that she's done, she opens up the corridor for her teammates. So this is a pattern that she repeats all day and is just an example of how smart they are in their decisions and how hard they work for each other as a team.
Interesting to note too, that whole passage of play, even though she doesn't get the ball, she is free by herself the whole time. Is that something you're going to have to watch closely as the Ds? You just can't let her get that space?
Oh yeah, most definitely. And knowing how important their wings are to their attack and defence, yeah, our wings will have a big job this week.
Got another big job, because Courtney Hodder is one of the young rising stars of the competition. Of course, an AFLW, a NAB AFLW Rising Star nominee this week, and Daisy had the chance to catch up with her.
Well, this week's NAB AFLW Rising Star is Courtney Hodder from the Brisbane Lions, and we've been lucky enough to be joined on the W Show by Courtney. Congratulations, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks, Daisy. Thanks for having me.
So I'm just going to fire away some quick questions at you. Would you prefer to play a video game or read a book?
Probably video game.
What song would you sing doing karaoke?
Oh, I don't know. I'd probably sing some Justin Bieber song.
Who's your favourite Brisbane Lions AFL player?
Probably Charlie Cameron. You know, he's small forward, someone I look up to.
I can see the similarities there. If you could be a superhero, what superpower would you choose?
I'd probably want to be invisible, hey?
A day at the beach or camping under the stars?
Definitely camping. I love camping.
If you're picking a movie, is it romantic, comedy or horror?
I'm a romantic person.
Ooh. Have you got a favourite movie?
Not really. I just love it all romance.
just bring the love. Who's your most annoying teammate?
Probably Dakota Davidson.
What's your signature dish if you find yourself in the kitchen?
I love spaghetti bolognese.
Nice. And a celebrity you'd love to meet most?
Probably Beyonce. Maybe she can teach me how to sing a few dance moves. Who knows?
And my very final one, before we say thank you so much for your time, what are the weaknesses in your game, and how would an opposition exploit it if they happen to be playing you on Saturday afternoon?
Oh, a weakness? Let's just say I low-key don't have any, so
I like it. All right, well, back to the drawing board for the Ds. I was hoping I could get some good intel there. Hey, Courtney, I'll see you on Saturday, but thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on your NAB AFLW Rising Star nomination.
No, thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. See you Saturday.
Very sneaky. So I was supposed to do that interview. You jumped in last minute. Now I know why you wanted to jump in and do that interview. You wanted some intel.
Yeah, you got to try everything.
Low-key, have no weaknesses.
I liked the confidence.
we'll see when it comes to Saturday. I don't think she does have any weaknesses. All right, time now for the buzz. We kick things off with a little dress up in the Hosking household. Jess here channeling her best monobrow as Fran from Dodgeball. Her last name, Daisy?
I haven't seen Dodgeball, but I can see it on the run sheet. Stalinovskevich Davidovitsky.
Okay, good. That was actually really good. I wasn't game to try.
Oh, goodness.
This is Maddie Collier from the Eagles. That's the worst shiner I have ever seen.
There's been some shockers this year.
God.
Like, Ashley Guest wasn't great either, but that is right up there.
Her eyeball, oh God, it freaks me out. And this is beautiful. It's a letter to Gold Coast son Sally Riley from the lovely Matilda, just thanking her for being one of her role models. And
these
it's just
never
such a
grow
nice
old.
moment, isn't it? You must get that.
And after the monobrow and then that black eye, this is exactly what the buzz needed, is a heartfelt letter from little Matilda. I like it.
I think so, indeed. Well, that is the end of the W Show for this week. We cannot wait for finals footy to hit us from next week. Best of luck this weekend.
Thanks, Nat. Enjoy the footy.
Thanks, everyone, for watching. See you soon.